Hi guys and welcome back to MyDankDog. This episode has been top of my list to get going. I finally set up my Grow Tent Pro kit from Vivosun, as well as the DWC system, the deep water culture system. So I'm eager to get this going. I've got new beans. The graphics may give away what those beans are, but yeah, really excited to get this going. So let's get into it. Before we start, big shout out to Vivosun for sponsoring this episode. And if you guys are in the market for some Vivosun gear, you can use my code MyDankDog at vivosun.com or the Amazon stores and you'll save 15%. And that's got no minimum purchase, guys. So no matter what you buy, as long as it's a Vivosun product, you can get 15% off. Right, let's get into it. Say hello to Medusa and Orion. I'm not sure whether I'm going to use both of them in my DWC grow, but I'll definitely use one of them. Medusa on the left hand side has been soaking in spring water for about 72 hours, maybe a little bit longer. And as you can see, she's got a pretty healthy taproot there. So we're going to pop her into some stonewool, some rockwool. I've never actually germinated a bean in stonewool or rockwool before, so I've decided to do a bit of an experiment. Orion on the right hand side has been soaking in spring water for a little over 24 hours, and as you can see, she started to kind of peep a little root out there too. So I'm going to do a little experiment with the stonewool rockwool. I'm going to put 3 beans in there in 3 different stages. One with a taproot, one where the bean has just cracked, and one where the bean is completely dry and has not been soaking yet. I'm going to be growing them in this Vivosun seedling starter. I'm going to be removing this tray and just have the rockwool or stonewool cubes in the tray below there. This seedling starter comes with LED strip lights on the top and obviously a humidity dome there. So I'll be placing this inside of the small Vivosun tent that you can see at the back there, and I'm going to try and time lapse it too so we can see the growth as it happens. The stonewool or rockwool cubes are easy to snip away from the pack here, and as you can see they come with a hole on the other side ready for you to pop your bean in. So here's 2 of them. It's pretty basic stuff. It does remind me of the kind of insulation you would put in a loft to keep your house warm. They've got the holes on one side here for me to place the beans in. I'm just going to plonk them in this bowl of unchlorinated spring water and let them absorb all of that. And then I'll let them sit for a few minutes more to kind of drain off the excess water. I don't want them overly saturated before I place the beans in. Okay, so we've got Medusa and Orion. They are ready to go in our stonewool rockwool cubes. M for Medusa, O for Orion. As you can see, I'm not using the kind of cell seedling tray. I'm just going to plonk the stonewool on the bottom of this tray here and hydrate and let it kind of bottom feed. Here's Medusa. She's got about an inch and a half kind of taproot. So I'm just going to plonk her in here and then cover up a little bit lightly from the top with the stonewool, just so that she's got something to push through, which is basically what I would do with the soil as well. I would plonk the bean in a hole and then cover it up lightly with some soil. The Orion, as you can see, has a very kind of small taproot popping out there. The bean is cracked. This is an experiment. I'm just trying to work out what works, whether I should be using a bean that has a taproot, a bean that has just been soaking and has started to crack, and then I'm also going to place a fully dry seed in option 3 just to see if it germinates straight from the stonewool cube without pre-soaking. So a little bit of an experiment. We're going to time lapse this. I would imagine that M on the left hand side is going to pop her head through first. O should be second, and then M on the right hand side should be third, but you never know with these ladies. Hello, Mom. we are good to go. These ladies are inside the little Vivosun tent here, and we're going to be placing the heat mat underneath to make sure that they are nice and warm, as well as the humidity dome and the LED strip lights that come with this seedling starter kit. So we're all good to go. I'm going to basically set up the time lapse and hopefully capture some ladies popping their head up from these stone wool cubes. We will see. It's probably going to take a few days to a week before we start to see anything. Here we go. There's my time lapse. I've set it up and we're just going to play the waiting game now. So I'm going to check back in 24 hours. And if there's any updates, I'll add it to the end of this video and we can see which lady pops her head out first. So 24 hours later, as you can see, not a surprise there. Medusa on the left that had a taproot has already popped her head out and she's just about to shed her seed casing. As you can see, she looks healthy. So that's a fast grow. So that's less than 100 hours since she was plonked in water to soak. So let's see if we can capture the others on time lapse. The other Medusa really caught up to this one there, so that was kind of cool to see. This one kind of slowed down and the other Medusa is almost the same height, if not the same height. What I've noticed are the roots have started to pop out the bottom of the rockwool or the stone wool, and it's kind of like the air pot system where the roots meet the air, the roots die and they go off in a different direction. But she's looking healthy, she's looking pretty good, as you can see. This is the second one. Orion in the middle, I'm a little bit concerned. We are getting over a week later and no sign. So I'm going to actually split this stone wool open. And yeah, as you can see, immediately I saw the problem. The root had kind of tied itself in a knot. I've never seen this before growing in soil. So I took her out, tried to remove the seed casing and straighten the root out a little bit. And hopefully I can get her on the mend again. If you look at this time lapse, she seemed to kind of open her cotyledon leaves on the right hand side there. So fingers crossed that she's going to kind of get it together. 10 days later, all of the roots are starting to show on the two Medusas at the side of this stonewool rockwool. And they're looking really good. They're really starting to kind of get their second set of true leaves, as you can see there. I kind of like the fact that she still got her helmet stuck to her cotyledon. So I'm just going to leave that on there, but she's looking nice. She's starting to kind of really spread out. So I'm going to give her a few more days, take her up to about 2 weeks, and then I'll consider putting her into the DWC. And as you can see, the other Medusa is the same, pretty much the same height and the same size as well. So I'm just going to give this probably out another 3 or 4 days, take it up to 2 weeks, and then transplant into the DWC. Orion over here, I don't know what's going on here. She's basically opened her cotyledons up. She's got a couple of little tiny true leaves there, but she doesn't look too healthy for me. She's not really doing so well. So I may give up on Orion and just move forward with the two Medusas. I set up the DWC system. As you can see, it's pretty straightforward. I'm actually going to do a dedicated video on just how to set up a DWC. I had to kind of adjust these valves here because I'm only doing one grow. So plot twist here, what I've decided to do is actually compare the two Medusas next to each other, one in a DWC grow and one in a coco grow, and just see how fast the difference is on the grows. Orion, as you can see, 2 weeks now, she's not looking so good, so I'm just going to move on from her. I just want to get my grow going. I'm going to pot her in some coco and see if she comes up any further, but I'm going to use this Medusa for the DWC, the one without the seed case stuck to her cotyledon, so she's going to go into the DWC. And then this, the first Medusa to sprout, I'm actually going to put her in coco. Now, I've got a 5-gallon DWC, so I'm going to use a 5-gallon coco as well, and basically compared the two. So the first Medusa will go in here, and I'm going to fill her up with the same nutrients as the one I'm going to put into the 5-gallon fabric grow bags here. Now, these are also from Vivosun. Everything's from Vivosun. And just see what that growth difference is. Everybody says that DWC is a massive difference. So we're going to see what the other Medusa of the same age grows like in this can of coco. I'm going to basically expand these bricks and mix with a little bit of perlite. This container's got 1 brick, or 2 of these squares that makes up 1 brick. And I've added about 10 litres of water, and as you can see, most of it is expanded. I'm just going to add it to the fabric pot with some perlite. There's probably more cocoa than I need there. I always like to keep the perlite damp before I mix it, so I give it a good spray. The dust goes everywhere when you're mixing this, so you could also wear a face mask, but I just like to keep it nice and damp when I mix it. And I'm hoping to get 25% perlite and 75% coco. The stonewool or rockwool cube was easy to place on a layer of these pre-washed clay pebbles, and then I just filled in around it. So she's actually lower than the water jets that are coming out there, so that means that the water will go onto the rockwool and then seep down into the water bucket below. The nutrients I'm using are Advanced Nutrients pH Perfect Sensi Coco Grow Part A and Sensi Coco Grow Part B. And then when she goes into bloom, I'll be using Sensi Coco Bloom Part A and Sensi Coco Bloom Part B. So pretty straightforward. I can use these both in the DWC and the coco, so that's a bonus for me. No problems there. I don't have to get any other nutrients. When she goes into bloom, I'm going to be using this rhino skin as well as some enzymes that are going to help protect her roots as well. So I also picked up Sensi Zim, and basically you use both of these, rhino skin and Sensi Zim, in the flower or bloom stage of the grow. And then I'm also going to be adding this Canna PK 1314 in the bloom stage as well, or the flowering stage. So yeah, fingers crossed I can keep everything, you know, the right pH and everything. I've never done this before, but when I measured the pH for this grow, it came in at around 5.9. So there's 13 litres of water in that DWC bucket, and when I did the pH test on it, it came into around 5.9. So I think we're good to go. I've basically done it as 1 mil per litre for both of these ladies, so everything should be the same apart from the medium that they're growing in. Obviously one's a DWC and the other is a coco grow, so really eager to see what the comparison is between a coco grow and a DWC grow. I'm going to do a more in-depth video of me building the Grow Tent Pro kit and putting the DWC system together, but first impressions of this Grow Tent Pro kit is it's amazing. It's really well built and it's got some features that my other tents haven't got, so I'm going to highlight those and point those out in a different video. This is the first day or two of the time lapse of my Medusa in the DWC in the foreground there. And you can see just in the background there, the coco grow. I'm going to actually raise that coco grow up a bit. It's not fair that she's a little bit further away from the lights, but everything's looking fantastic, guys. I'm really happy. So thanks again to Vivosun. I do appreciate it. And thanks to you guys for tuning in. I do appreciate all the likes, all the comments, all the advice that I got from you guys. So stay tuned for the next episode. I really do appreciate it. And Happy New Year if I don't speak to you before then. Take it easy. Bye bye.